On this ride, I left Northampton, rolled into the woodlands, picked up the group at the Alden Village Center. We went down Research Forest Boulevard. By the time we hit Fishcreek, we started filming, nice steady pace, all the way to Capitol Hill, Raven Chapel, Mill Route 2854 into Montgomery. We stopped the filming when we got to Taco Corner. We continued the ride 1097 Bailey Grove. On 149, I let the group go. I had kind of accomplished my hard efforts goal for the day. And so I rode back in solo. It was very breezy, wind everywhere, wind galore. We probably had a front that was coming in, but it was just blowing and blustering throughout the rest of the day, well into the late evening. I think you would like the clips that we put together for you. But as my training has gotten a little more consistent, my form is steadily improving. We're on the open road, the FM 2978, Sandera Ranch Road. I'm at the front pulling. My plan for this ride was to get close to an hour in Zone 4. I've been steadily increasing my adaptation. So remember, everybody comes to a group ride with different goals. That's why you are gauging your performance based on you, not in comparison to somebody else necessarily. Because once I had gotten my allotted hard efforts in, I basically waved the group through on 149 and finished the rest of the ride by myself in Zone 2. Hey. Next week, I will do even more, and so forth and so on. So the key to consistency in cycling is having a load that you can replicate, meaning don't plan to do 20 hours when you only got 5 hours a week to ride. That's just unrealistic. So you end up, even if you're on vacation and you ride 20 hours, you got to recover from that because you haven't been doing it, and it wears you out. So then it's not going to help you improve. So plan based on your available time. In fact, plan a little under your available time. If you got 10 hours a week to ride, plan to ride 7 or 8 because life happens. But if you do that consistently over a period of time, that load will improve your fitness, the consistency, and you will get in shape better than if you're skipping training because something comes up and you can't do your 4-hour ride like you had planned, so forth and so on. We're on Fishcreek Boulevard. I'm at the front, kind of just setting the trend. My goal was to ride hard and steady today. So I wanted to do about 45 to 60 minutes tops of very hard riding. Last week I did about 30 minutes on Saturday. I didn't go too hard. And then this week I'm increasing it. And it's just a gauge, I figure, okay, I'd ride the taco hard, and then after that, try to chill. But when you're with the group, you can't control that. And so I had to let them go on the way back. But I'm sticking to my plan because I know what works. I know how to train. That's Mike S5 back there. I call him Mike S5, but his name is Mike Van Damme, like Jean-Claude Van Damme, the actor. I don't know if it's spelled the same. That's a cool name. And so I just learned it last week. I had dubbed him S5 because he had written on his avatar on another board, and he used S5. He rides a Cervelo S5. Well, he used to ride it. And that was where he got it from. So I figured we have so many Mikes in the group. So we got San Diego Mike is Mike Barreras. Then we have English Mike with Michael Bradbury. So we had to dub everybody with a different acronym, so to speak. I'm just riding here. I'm not really pushing. We're going downhill. I'm in zone 1, getting into zone 2. Just riding, just rolling through the gears. Nothing special, just riding. This wind that is pushing us somewhat, we have to fight because it gets even more intense after about mid-morning. It had been forecasted to be very breezy. It was even more than they had forecasted. This is Frank. Frank brought out his other bike. I think it's an Albeit, if I'm not mistaken. Classic looking road bike. In a little bit, as a triathlete, we're having today, actually Saturday, the 27th of April, they had the Ironman. So we see this guy over here, and the light's going to turn red. He's going to end up running the light. Well, I'm at the front. I'm thinking about the last person in the group. I'm not thinking about me. So even though I could have gone through, it just was not expedient. It did not make sense. We stopped. We're not late for anything. And I'm stopping for the last person in the group, not for me. When you lead in the group, you got to make sure that you have enough room for everyone before you make a move, or you let them know. That make sure you check.
Classic bike. Yes.
Yeah, it's an Albeit. I hope I pronounced it correctly. That's Frank. I had good legs on this ride, but I did not want to push too many hours very hard. You know, because it just, if you push too hard, it can set back your training and your recovery. So I gradually get that. The progressive load that I use is kind of a fun way to get into shape. So yeah, the pain is there, you bear it, but knowing that it's going to achieve certain things, you can block it out. But you have to treat hard riding like seasoning. If you put too much seasoning in the meal, no matter how much you like that seasoning, it's just not gonna be something you want to eat. So it's just a dash. You have to progressively introduce that into your training, especially if you've been off for some time. I think this is week number 4 or 5 for me. So in a couple of weeks, it will be a complete block, and then I'll be ready to really spice things up. So you don't have to be in top form to push, but you don't want to push for too many hours beyond what your body has adapted to. Otherwise, it can take longer to recover from it.
Yeah, I'm good. No, I just wanted to get back so I can feel. Yeah. I'm doing the dual function, man.
That's Abby. There's Mike Barreras on the right there, the far right. Mike said he had a down week. He was not well the whole week, so didn't ride as much. So when you got those things going on, you spend more time at the back, just sit in and chill. You know, like right now we're not going very hard. I'm right at the top of zone 2 for me, so if you draft well, you can be in your zone 1 or something. I pulled off the front. So all I'm doing there is I'm looking down for the wheels. By looking at the pavement and slightly to the right, I can see where the gaps are. When Abby goes by, I see that Paul leaves a gap for me and I fill it. anxiously awaiting the production of our new kit. We are in the final phases of the design stage, and it is exciting. It's like Christmas in April, but the packages aren't here yet. But to be able to see that design come to life, it was exciting to see that. We're gonna start off with 2 colors. We're gonna do a white. We're gonna do pearl white, but the graphics weren't coming out too nicely, so the designers suggested that we do a stark white that will make our logos and other sponsor stuff pop. We're creating a Euro style jersey, so I'm hurrying up to get in top shape when they arrive to do it justice. We're going to make enough copies for people who want to get some. We have a sponsor that will be supplying everybody, so we don't have to deal with it. So you want a copy, you can just purchase it online or send it to you. And then throughout the upcoming years, we'll be doing different colorways. Somebody turned the screw up there. That's the thing about group rides. That jersey I'm wearing, I love the fit, but the fabric is not as light. I'd like to say it's not a flyweight. I would say at best is a midweight. It's great up to about maybe 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about probably 27 Celsius. Much above that, it's uncomfortable. That was designed by Souke, the 100K challenge a year ago. I really love the fit. No excess fabric. In about 10 kilometers, about 6 miles, we come across Mike Weingrad again, the same guy from last week who had the flat. And once again, he wants to chat. So like, I told him, he didn't hear me, but I told him, I said, man, he said, Elder, what's up? Abby told him hi or whatever. And then he said, Elder, what's up? Well, I was on the left. I was focusing more on the wheel. So I just told him, hey man, we're riding. And then later on, once we get to a stoplight at 105, I gave him a fist bump. I told him, I said, now we can talk. When I'm riding, I don't want to talk. Now, if we're just warming up or whatever, fine. But once we begin to ride, what else is there to talk about? This is the event. Let's ride. Because there's a lot to pay attention to. You got to be looking at wheels, cracks, potholes, cars, dogs. I mean, who got time to talk? You know, so I don't want to talk. I'm watching the moves and whatever, trying to save as much energy as I can. See how I stood without my wheels getting close to Paul? And then when I sit, I'm going to pull that bike under me. See, my position does not change. Your bike needs to fit you to where when you're standing or doing other stuff, it's just there. You shouldn't feel like you're carrying something along. It's like when you move, it should be like you're moving your body and the bike kind of comes along for the ride, if you know what I mean. It shouldn't feel like it's an appendage, so to speak, that's in the way. So when I stand, it's like I'm walking the bike. It's like my body walks on air because the bike is there. That's the way it feels to me. That's the way your bike should fit you. And that comes from your saddle position, height, fore aft, your cleats on your shoes, your bars, all of that. It takes work. Fit is not done overnight. You got to work at it. We're constantly monitoring our fit, and we pay attention to how our bodies feel. It's like about 6 months or almost a year ago, I started having shoulder aches. I couldn't figure out what it was. So I did a bit of a tweak on the tilt of my bars, and that solved that problem. I'm standing because I really don't want to downshift. There are certain I mean, this climb is not that steep. Let's say you're riding along and you come to a switchback or a pitch to where it goes from 3% to 7%. Sometimes it's best to stand for just that steep section and use your body to power through that. It just feels better than to sit and try to spin a small gear. I'm using those Boar adjusters. I love them. This shoe has that to adjust the fit of my Pro Team shoes. And all I'm thinking about is I've timed myself. I've done 12 minutes of work in zone 4 so far, including my when I was warming up. So I want to find an opportunity to go back to the front because I want to get about 45 minutes to an hour. You know, I mean, I got a little more when we went through Billy Grove, but I try to get as much as I can. That way I get my work in. So my goal was to stay close to sweet spot. You know, sweet spot to zone 4 for 45 minutes or so today. You always need to have goals. And if you never finish with the group, your first goal should be do whatever it takes to finish with the group. Meaning ride smart, stay in the wheels. I'm staying to the right so I can use the wind to slow me down. We're heading towards the overpass, and this is a slight grade. It might be, it says 2.5%. Somebody raised the pace up there. I rev up whatever gear I'm in because we've got the overpass coming, so you don't want to kill your legs here. You want to kind of save them as much as possible. You see it says anaerobic because I had to rev up to adjust for the first acceleration. Now it's settled down. Group riding is not always very efficient. I've found time trialing to be very efficient. It's hard when you get up there and you hold it. It's like you're cruising. When I ride solo on a climb like this, most of the time, I'll stand the entire thing. Just to teach my legs to tolerate that pain. Because if you're not used to it, your legs can tighten up when you stand for a long time. So since I can stand on this stuff when I ride solo, I just remain seated and spin the gear, man. At the top, I shift up. It's hard to get a great draft off of Abby. He's about a foot shorter than I am. So what I'm doing is I drift to the left on one side and drift to the right now. I'm trying to find some kind of a draft while avoiding all the little cracks and crevices that we just passed. I'm looking around them the whole time. Somebody turned it up a little bit. They do these little surges. It's like, just get up there and do what you can hold. I mean, it's annoying to tell you the truth. When I used to race, people did that. But the thing is depending on your level of fitness, it didn't really do much to hurt or wear down the guys who were very fit because they weren't doing it very long. If you're going to only accelerate for 15 seconds, you're not going to be dropping any decent person. You got to go hard longer. Little slight accelerations, they waste a lot of energy. There are cars coming, so I can see around these guys. So right here, I'm really resting. I may be pedaling, but you can look at my cadence. I'm just kind of keeping the legs moving because sometimes it helps to keep your legs moving as opposed to just coasting, especially after a hard effort. Especially going downhill. It's good to just be turning the gears. Now you see I'm accelerating for the corner because they're going to try to sneak. There's a car pointed at that car in the distance so the people behind me can see. I'm in the proper gear. That's why I didn't get up. I had already downshifted knowing that this is like 2%. And they always try to sneak away and then they're going to sit up. And you can see we're bunching up. I don't know if I go around Abby. Oh, there's a car coming. Okay. Somebody has said car. I'm dodging those cracks. And you have to keep your eye on the road. Don't depend on people to point things out. Look around the rider in front of you. That's what I'm doing right now. When we ride these roads, it's just Paul and I, or about me by myself. You don't have to worry about it because you can see. But when people are here bunched up, you can't see around them. I think Laura's pulling off. All the cracks and crevices. So even though Laura just pulled off, she's making sure she stays within contact. Because they're sneaking up there. That's what I think Paul's asking her if she wants in. I think she's going to drift to the back. Now, it's been about 6 miles since we started. Let's say we're going down the hill. In the distance, we see a rider. It ends up being Mike Weingrad. I'm not sure why he doesn't come to the start of the ride, but he's out here again once again. So we roll up to him and we're passing him, and he wants to chat like we're at a cafe. Just slot in. That's all he needs to do. And so for me, I'm not interested in that. We're riding here. I don't have time to break up my rhythm to talk with you. So he's like, Elder, what's up? And I end up moving on the left. You'll see it happen. I moved to the left because I'm watching the guys that are going up the road. There's the rider in the white jersey on the right. We're going to come up to him. And Abby greets him before we even get to him. I guess Abby's happy to see him. But I'm riding. Yeah, that's Abby calling his name. He's on the right there. So right here, I moved to the left because those guys, while Abby is chatting with him, they're moving up. So he's like, Elder, what's up? I'm like, it's time to ride, man. So at the light, I told him what's up is the wheel in front of me is up. You see? I said time to ride, not time to chat. Yeah, Elder, what's up? I don't have time to talk. Let's go. So we get to the light. He's like, oh, you don't love me anymore. Like I said, now's the time to talk. So we turn. There's a bit of a slight grade there. Those are the things you watch out for. I want to keep my effort up. 157, 150. I want to stay in the 160s. That's my goal. That's what I'm focused on. Now I'm back to 160. I want to work hard here. That's all I'm thinking about. Not hello. I don't have time for that. We talk later. We talk at taco. So when you're riding in a bunch, especially when the riding has started in earnest, focus on that. And on the flip side, when you guys are warming up and people are kind of messing around, be extra cautious because that's when a lot of crashes happens because everybody's relaxed and a little careless. Okay, because when you're riding hard, everybody's on point. It's when things are kind of casual is when people cross wheels and all that kind of stuff. So just be very leery of that. When things are kind of like relaxed and whatever, keep a lot of room between you and the other riders. That's when mishaps occur often. So I'm at the front. I'm focused on that. I don't want to, just hello is good. Why you gotta say, Eldred, what's up? What is that? I'm supposed to break my rhythm to say what? What do you think is up? The wheel in front of me is up. And that's what I told him. I told him at the light. I said, now we can talk. And he said, oh, you don't love me anymore. Then when I'm riding, I don't have time to talk. Paul ended up telling Abby the same thing on one ride. He was riding, the pace was hot. He was focused on the wheel. Abby wanted to talk. He said, man, don't talk to me. And so Abby took it one step further in another situation. He said, can I talk to you now? He asked Paul, can I talk to you now? Paul told him, man, when I'm riding, that's all I'm thinking about. And I think that's the way it should be. Focus on the wheel in front of you so you don't have mishaps. You know, nowadays everybody's on their phones in the car at the lights. I don't know if it's happening in your area, but we get a lot of people sitting at the light. The first car, the light goes green, and they're sitting there, and it's clear they're not paying attention. And even after you tap your horn, it takes them a while to gather themselves to get through. And then some of our lights are pretty short nearby, you know, a short left turn, and it just annoys everybody else. It's kind of rude. You're the first car, you know, like in New York and other big cities, they start blowing before the light changes to make sure you're ready to go. So yes, pay attention in the pace line. It doesn't take much to cause you to cross wheels and fall off your bike. It is not fun falling off your bike. I personally hate it. I think it sucks. Because you always, besides hurting yourself, you always damage something on the bike. You know, that bites. I hate that. So I continually work on my handling, you know. I have like an old Schwinn in my shop that I ride now, and I got other things. I'm always messing around with some mountain bikes. So I'm always working on, okay, what if this happens? What do I do? That kind of stuff. I think it helps. So you can play with your bike and be able to react. So you don't panic. So when stuff happens in front of me, those of you who've been here a while, you saw I filmed a crash. I was fortunate not to have fallen, and I was involved in the crash. But you just don't need to panic. You need to think about what you're gonna do. I think I'm gonna stand in a little bit. I'm up there. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna shift up a cog and then stand. This is not very hard. We've gone harder on this climb, but there we go. 5-something watts. I'm standing. Okay, that's why. When you stand, your cadence will naturally drop. You need to make sure that you can tolerate that rhythm. You know, when you're training by yourself, practice that. Find a rhythm that you like when you're standing, and then practice that. I believe one of our famous cyclists, Alberto Contador. Those of you who know him from the tour, he interviewed with GCN. I think it was Matt was doing the interview. He told Matt asked him how long do you stand? Because one time he rode up to Motorola, and he was standing after a flat in the Giro, and he said that he would stand up to like 20 minutes standing, you know, on a climb. That's a long time, you know, but that's his body type. It seemed to work for him, because that day when he had the mishap, he stood most of the way and he was passing riders, and he ended up getting to the front of the race, getting back to the front of the race. So it helps to develop different ways of climbing, but you got to find what your body can tolerate. Don't try something new for the first time in an event or in a race or something. Try it in training. See how your body reacts to it. Because he also said in the same interview, Contador said that he used to see Pantani, El Pirata, the pirate, be in the drops. When they would get to the climb, he'd be in the drops climbing. And he said he tried it and his legs literally filled up, blew up. They felt like they were filling up with lactic acid. So it just didn't work for him. So when he stands, he's on the hoods. He doesn't stand while in the drops. It doesn't work for his body type. So everybody's different. You gotta find your own style. So I'm staying near the front so I can do more work. That's the reason you see me there. And I mean, it's always good to be in this section. This is like the front third. So it's always good to be around here. Trying to see if we're going to get a pace line going, if people spread out all over. So then I accelerate. I'm getting on the wheels. So lately on these rides, people have been trying to take the corners really fast, especially here on Mill Route. I'm aware of that, and I'm watching for it on this ride. I think I'm in 3rd or 4th position, something like that. And the corner is coming up. We're turning left. You'll see riders go through 1, 2, I believe the next one. There I am on the right. So I'm probably 3rd, or I accelerate. Look at my cadence. I rev up, I get on their wheels. So we got a little bit of a gap to these guys here. You see that? I'm up there. Now they're gonna have to work. That's what they've been doing lately. Go around that corner really fast, and then the rest of the people have to work to catch up. The problem is we went around the corner, but then the power went off. So what was the point of all that? If you go around the corner and get a gap, you got to work that gap. If you're serious to set it up, you know, work the gap. But it's harder. It's easier said than done. It's hard. You know, we've been riding pretty steadily here, and so you go around that corner and you don't have much left because this road, it's a drag. See, it says 1.1. This is Mill Route. It's going to keep going up, and then it has these corners where it kicks up to like 3% or so. But right here is a drag. It's got to be 2.5%. It starts to drag right here, and then when we get up in the distance, it's going to turn to the right where it kicks up. So you're working the whole time on this road. I like this road. Look at it. I didn't realize it's 3%, and we're not even at the corner yet. And you can see S5 is in a big gear. He's working. I was doing a lot of shifting on this section. I was saving my legs for 2854. There's a guy in front of me. I believe his name is Yadir. Yadir had been doing a lot of pulling, and he had ended up back at the front because we have a lot of riders that kind of slide back and leave gaps, whatever. You know, don't want to get to the front anyway. So I realized that, okay, he's just been pulling recently. It was a strong pull. I said, so he probably won't sit up there too long. Someone's in front of him. I don't remember who. They're going to pull off, and I think he's going to take over. So by the time we get to 2854, he starts to slow down, and I can sense that, okay, he's done a lot of work. He doesn't want to go back to the front. He has spent more than his fair share up there. I don't know if it's here, or I don't know if he's pulling here or someone else is in front of him. That's Mike Barreras, San Diego Mike. Can't really tell at this point. I see his jersey. I'm behind him. I don't know if he's number 1 right now or number 2. He may be pulling. Can't really tell. And you see, the whole time my heart rate has stayed in the 160s. That was my goal. I wanted to work hard because you can sit in these groups and not do enough work. Okay, yeah, that's Frank that's been pulling. Frank's just pulled off. So Yadir is going to take over, and Yadir had already done some long pulls on Fishcreek. So wisely, he did not want to stay up there much longer because not everybody had taken their fair share. That's frank. So we're descending towards the FM 2854. We're heading towards downtown Montgomery. We are in Montgomery County, Texas. Love this road. Look at the foliage. It's like we've been under the trees for a bit. So as we approach the corner, he goes wide and he slows down dramatically. And I take that as a cue that he doesn't want to be up there taking yet another pull. So I go ahead and take the lead. That's me turning. And I'm just going to start riding, That's the idea. He did a lot of pulling. Yeah, he did a lot of pulling today. I think Paul just said a good pull. Whatever gear S5 is in, it just looks heavy on camera anyway. It just looks like it's heavy. I guess it was working for him now. When it's windy like that, I'm trying to stay as close to 90 RPMs as possible. I'm not thinking about it, but I want to make sure that I'm on top of whatever gear I'm in. So I'm pulling right now. I figure we'd do like 2021. This is a slight gray. We're going into the wind. There's a bit of a breeze. I don't know if it's into the wind, but I want to keep my effort sweet spotted above, and that's where I am. That's my goal. I think Laura's on my wheel, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. No, I think Laura's behind Paul. That's Frank and Yadir chatting probably. They're speaking Spanish. I know enough Spanish to be dangerous. I can get the gist of what they're talking about when they're speaking Spanish. I have a general idea because I get some of the words, but not enough to where I can fluently translate it. Yeah, but they switch. It'll be you get a few Spanish phrases, then they'll switch to English, then it switch back. Like, come on, guys. I don't think it's cool to be speaking a different language around other people. It's like, what are you talking about us? I don't know. Those of you who have followed Samuel Jackson and Selma Hayek, they have a show called The Hitman. It's an adult show. The Hitman's Wife Bodyguard and The Hitman's Bodyguard. I love those two. One is the sequel, The Wife's Bodyguard. One is the sequel, but the first one she's in, she curses in Spanish. She's in a Dutch jail. She curses in Spanish and it tickles me the way she does it. Selma Hayek. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. Actress. She's cool. And Samuel L. Jackson and what's this guy named? The guy that played Green Lantern. Ryan Reynolds. What a combination. They hit it off. In the Hitman's Bodyguard, the chemistry in between him and Samuel Jackson, it's just funny. It's one of those movies that I can watch repeatedly. There's quite a bit of violence and cursing, but yeah, it kind of works with the plot, I guess. But she switches, and that's what reminded me of. She switches from English to Spanish, back and forth. She's like puta. I'm like, what? So I had to go look that up. Oh man, there was a guy, the Merovingian in the Matrix. He loved speaking French, and he said the French language is a beautiful language to curse with. Oh man. I'm sure the French don't necessarily agree. That's not the only. It is a beautiful language. So I pull until we get to the traffic light in the distance. I just keep the effort there. You can see 166 beats per minute. That's my plan for this ride. That was for me. So whether I would be in the wheels or at the front, my goal was to make sure I was working. That's why I stayed near the front. So I would get a chance to get in the wind, you know, make moves. Like when we turned back there a mill route, I intentionally accelerated with a high cadence to keep my effort high, because I didn't have to do that. So you have to realize that in any group ride or even a race, everybody's got different things that they're working on, they're doing. You've got to have your plan before you leave home. On every ride you go on should be, oh, I'm just gonna go sightsee today, and then you stick to it. Don't just go out there and see somebody else riding and start following them. What's that about? You know, on this particular ride, after I let the group go, I'm riding back at zone 2. I'm doing 16 to 18 miles an hour into this wind that we had. I don't know where it came from. And 3 guys are killing themselves to catch me on Spring Branch. I could see them in my mirror. I just kept my effort where I needed it to be. So after a few miles, probably took them about 7 miles, they finally get up to me. And the first guy just kind of waves as he goes by. The second guy says hi. The second guy says, oh, hello there, sir. You know, so I look. And then the last guy, there were 3 of them. So the last guy said, hop on. You know, that's basically inviting me to join the line. I did not join the line. That, you know, I didn't plan on meeting them out there. I don't know what they're doing, whatever. Join the line for what? I'm doing what I needed to be doing. If you rode fast enough to catch me, I don't need to get on your wheels, because this is the effort I need to do. So I let them go, but they just stayed within a few car lengths ahead of me. They didn't make up much ground. I guess that's why it took them that long to catch me. It was very breezy. But don't just go out there following people unless it meets your needs, you know. You want to use them as a rabbit or something. This is where I turn around and we're talking now. This is why I tell them, now we can talk. And then he asked to be put on our board because he's not getting the postings for this ride, and he wanted to be added so he could get the postings. That's what we're talking about. But I told him, I say, when I'm riding, I don't have time to stop, because what ends up happening is you break up your rhythm, you're looking around, and you stop just to say hello. I don't have time for that. So when you join the group, just pretty much blend in, just slip in, you know. You can say hi, you know, hey guys, whatever, and let's blend in. You don't need to have no long drawn out conversation. You know, I don't have time to change what I'm doing just because we picked you up on the road.
I'm getting you in the camera.
That's Abby.
About being fat.
Yeah, being fat and, you know, 10 pounds heavier. So you guys would drop it like a potato on the way back, just like that.
I guess Abby says he's 10 pounds heavier. Yeah, I'm about 7. I guess, let's see. I'm about 7 pounds above my ideal cycling weight, but I don't worry about it.
Yeah. On the way back, especially that
as you get stronger, your body will settle where it needs to. Kind of a long light here.
Yeah. Just make sure I got my phone with me so I can. All right.
Green up. So now as we go across this intersection, this is Lone Star Parkway. I have been pulling since we turned on the 2854 off a mill route. So I'm gonna move to the right. I'll have to literally wave somebody through for them to go up to the front. Nobody wants to go up to the front. So I put my arm out and I wave somebody up. And I think Mike is on my left there. So right there, I'm trying to get off the front. I'm actually riding in a little bit of I'm on the white line because there's a lot of little rocks. It's not clean. I end up waving them up. And the reason I'm pulling off to the right so you guys can go. I don't remember when I waved them up, but I'm going all the way by the grass so they can get on through. They're still sitting behind me. I finally end up waving them through. I think right there, yeah. I put my arm out and I said, come on, go on through. That's Abby. So now they go on through like bats out of hell, and look at the gap. So Paul's gonna ride up to them. I'm gonna slip behind Abby. You can see my cadence. My power is gonna go up a little bit. I don't know if it already has. I may already be on the line, but it's like, okay, so now this road here has a lot of wind. You can see how it's going up. It says 2%, nice and long. When we hit the top, it levels off a bit. You see my watts going up. I can feel the pace yo-yoing as I'm sitting back there, because my watts go like 100 and something to 3 something, 100 and something to 3 something, you know, and that says that they're doing something that's not sustainable, because they're not holding the effort. So when we get to the traffic light in the distance, it's clear they're trying to take a break. So they slow down as we turn. It's like they turn off the power, and I just continue. Like, no, we're not done yet. We're not at taco yet. You see my heart rate 169, it dropped to 167. So I'm in the zone I need to be in. And this is where I wanted to ride for about 45 minutes to an hour today. That was the zone I wanted to be in. I do the same thing when I train solo. I have a certain workout. Even if I'm riding 3 hours, I have like maybe 60 minutes of a certain zone that I need to accomplish during those 3 hours. So right here, they slow way down. And I'm like, somebody's tired. So I'm gonna come around on the left. Right there. It's like, why are we not riding now? We're not at taco yet. I'm just riding. That's not an attack. I'm just riding, but I'm basically going back to the effort they were doing back there. And we're going downhill, so the speeds are gonna be faster. We see 156. I'm 10 beats below where we were. I'm just doing the same thing they were doing back there. And Paul's gonna see that nobody's doing anything, so he's gonna come around and ride up to me. I'm not doing anything different than what we're doing back there. Just keeping the same effort. The train is just steadily going. But they were done. They turned off the power. They were done with whatever they had been doing back there. So back at Taco Corner. A lot of the cyclists stopped here today. It was a big crowd. Mo's group came also. And we picked up some strays on the way back. So I don't know what you did this weekend, but this is part of what we did on Saturday. We had winds galore in the Houston area. Remember, get your K's in and keep every doctor fired.